Loudoun. So it covers these 3 counties right there. So if you're in Berryville, okay, well, you've got to say, uh-oh, it's heading my way. Yes, it is. And even if it doesn't end up being, one with rotation, it's heading your way. Even toward Charlestown, even toward Port Martinsburg. You guys have had like 7 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Winchester, don't let your guard down either. Front Royal, don't let your guard down either. I think you're going to be a little bit too far south. I think you're okay down here, but there are more feeder bands, behind this one. But this is the one with the most energy and the most heavy rain. And quite frankly, the ones that spawn most of the tornadoes. So there's the tornado warning. Again, a little piece of Clarke, a good chunk of Loudoun, okay, and then part of Fauquier County until 9:30. Now, we'll track the whole thing. And again, this is going to be a little bit ahead of the storm, but I want to give you an idea of kind of where it could go. So let's just say we're going to take it from here, okay, and take it northwest. I know that's crazy. Take it northwest, boom, okay. Webtown comes up again, 9:18. Berryville comes up, 9:22. Middleway, 9:40. Inwood, 9:50. And Glengarry at 10 o'clock. So they're moving northwest. So get ready. A Middleway at 9:40. And this goes until 9:30. And we'll see if Doppler indicates that this is still going to have a little bit of a couplet. I didn't really see much of, I saw a tiny couplet. I mean, like winds 15 miles per hour one way and then 50 another way. It's very, very small couplet. Now, it is just to the southwest of Middleburg where I do see, I do see a little bit here. So 21, I see a 60 mile per hour wind, but not too much.
Similar to what we saw with the warnings earlier, just outside of the warning, just to the west of Upperville, another little spin up, very close in proximity, but very similar to what we were watching earlier.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing some pretty good winds, no doubt. I saw a couple just a minute ago, Caitlin, but I don't see it now. I mean, I would still take this very seriously. It's essentially where I saw the latest thing I saw was not far here from Upperville. Okay, so it's out 50, past Middleburg, kind of Upperville, kind of south down toward Rectortown, and over toward Atoka. That's kind of where I saw maybe at least 50 mile per hour winds, perhaps some rotation. And then, Caitlin, tell me where you saw the other one. Was it outside this?
Yes, just off to the west of Upperville, really right where 50 meets 17.
Okay, so over here, so there's 17 and there's 50. Okay, so we're headed toward Berries and kind of south of Frogtown. Could be some rotation.
Exactly.
Could be some rotation there. Did you see any values of just wind speed themselves? You got, 40 or 50, or what do you have?
Up to 53.
Up to 53.
Fairly
okay.
Similar in intensity to what is warned right now.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 areas we're kind of watching. This one is a little bit outside the warning area. And remember, we saw 2 side by side earlier tonight. So that's where 50 meets 17. Caitlin has some warning, some concerns about that. And then I had some concerns between Upperville and Willisville. I saw just a tiny bit of rotation, not much, but just a tiny bit of rotation. It's now past Middleburg, Upperville. You got some pretty. Yeah, there's a little. It's still kind of in between. The highest winds, though, you're right, are up past Upperville, technically on the outside of this area. They're kind of right here. So we're concerned about Upperville, which is just outside the warning area, and then also 15, and where 15 and 50 meet. That's going to be the point of concern for us. So we'll zoom back out. Again, this encompasses Clarke, parts of Fauquier, parts of Loudoun County until 9:30. So that's this area here, all right? And we have tremendous rain going on here. Rainfall rates in Upperville right now, almost 2 1/3 inches. Per hour, and notice surrounding this, I'll zoom out a little more, is a flood warning, and the flood warning goes until 12:15. I got to believe Goose Creek is flooding, so it's a huge area. I mean, from Leesburg to Winchester is covered by this flood warning, and again, that goes until 12:15, and I would really heed that. As I mentioned earlier, I'm really more concerned about flooding than I am about these little spin-ups. First of all, these aren't going to be that strong. Second of all, they're going to be very few and far between and very localized. The flooding, look at that, widespread area, a much larger area of flooding. We've got a tree blocking the road at Carpathian Road and John Marshall Highway near Gainesville, Virginia. That came in at 8:57. So that's this storm, but it is now moved to the north and to the west. I'm going to track this again, and if your town comes up or if you know someone in this area, you need to tell them to take this seriously and, take cover. A basement is best, okay? But again, if you have to go to an interior room, that's fine. All right, so there we go. So Berryville keeps coming up. 927, Gaylord 927, Middleway 944, that keeps coming up. Inwood 954. Again, these are moving northwest toward I-81. You don't often talk about that, but they are. Shockeysville at about 1010. So we have the flood warning here, okay? That's this line, the bluish line, and then we have this red line. That is a tornado warning until 9:30 for Clarke and Fauquier County, and also a little piece of Loudoun County as well. Hopefully, you're not trying to go anywhere tonight, and even tomorrow morning, remember, this is going to kind of go on and off all night with waves of bands. So I'm really concerned about folks driving tomorrow morning as well. There's going to be some flooding going on tomorrow morning. So tonight, keep your devices charged and download our app. So we have a way of pushing you these alerts. Nocturnal tornadoes are the most dangerous. So here's the warning. Purcellville, you're not technically in it. Leesburg, you're not in it. You have to go out 50 past Aldie. Upperville, you're sort of on the edge, but we're concerned about some rotation to your west as you go farther out towards 17. And again, it's moving to the northwest at about 30, 33 miles per hour. We'll zoom back out. This is some damage reports. And down toward Ladysmith in Fredericksburg, we have reports of a possible tornado. Everyone, Allegheny County, you're not under the tornado watch. Essentially, everybody's under a tornado watch until 7 a.m. tomorrow. Kind of unusual. Usually they go in 6-hour increments. You'll get a watch from 6 p.m. to midnight or something like that. Severe Storms Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma says, boom, till 7 a.m. in the morning, until all of these feeder bands are gone. And quite frankly, I could see a couple of these even lasting a little bit longer than that. There's the warning, bright red. Warning, it's happening. Watch, it's possible. We know it's possible. There's that little fleck of yellow. That was early tomorrow morning. That's a tornado threat index. It's just one tool we use. But it's kind of ironic that early tomorrow morning it's going to have a higher threshold or higher index than it is right now.
Chopper,
yes.
If you can get back to radar and focus in on Willisville, just to the northeast of Upperville, rotation is really tightened up in the area, and we're now clocking winds up to 78 miles per hour. So repeating what we've said all evening long, even if it's not rotating and there is a really strong radar indication that it is, 78 mile per hour wind gusts can do some serious damage. And again, that's really right over Willisville.
Willisville, yeah. I talked about Willisville a second ago. All right, let's just zoom in here. So this is technically outside of the box or not?
No,
there's Willisville. Okay, so it's actually in the box. It's actually in the warned area. Okay. Yeah, here it is, right here. Okay. Okay. So there's Upperville, there's Willisville. This is where you're seeing the tightening?
Yes, exactly. Right over Willisville. And if not, moving just to the north right now. Because, again, they're moving pretty quickly, right around 35 miles per hour. So that's almost about to put it in Howardsville.
Okay. And that's St. Louis Road for those of you who's going to get your perspective. And this is 50. And, again, inside this is the tornado warning. So if we were then to go a little further north, all right, there's Trapp. There's Bloomfield. I would really take precautions if you lived in any of those places. And out Blue Ridge Mountain Road because it's moving northwest, as Caitlin said, 33, 35 miles per hour. So, yes, you're going to have the potential for a tornado. But, again, we emphasize this and say it all the time. It doesn't have to be tornadic to cause some damage or even injury. If we see winds, Caitlin, what did you clock the winds at last scan?
at least 78 miles per hour. Now seeing 81. This is 88. This is heading up toward Trap.
Toward Trap. Okay, so now we have
Mountain
winds
Road,
possibly.
Blue Ridge Mountain Road. Those are the areas that need to be in their safe location.
Okay, right. So right here, we're right on the map here. There's Blue Ridge Mountain Road. There's Trap. Okay, it's coming this way. Even in Bloomfield, I would take cover. Now, Caitlin's tracking 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. That does not matter if it's tornadic or not. That will do some damage. So basement, interior room, away from windows, no exceptions. This has got to happen if you're in the Trap area. You're right in the warning, which goes until 9:30. And again, it does encompass a little bit of Clarke, Fauquier, and Loudoun County. But this is where we've seen most of the rotation at this hour. So let's be smart, let's be safe, and if you're on Blue Ridge Mountain Road or around Trap, we want you to be in the basement or an interior room. No messing around with this. 80 mile per hour winds are nothing to sneeze at. And then once it crosses Blue Ridge Mountain Road, it's going to kind of be between Bluemont and Frogtown. So again, if you live there, take precautions. You know, just do them right now. Just take precautions right now. It'll be over fairly quickly, but we need you to take that pretty seriously, okay? Especially when we see winds that strong and possibly some rotation. So there's Howardsville. This is the warning area. Now we're kind of concerned with areas kind of Howardsville northward as you go back up towards 7. Okay, now they cut it a little bit in half. It still goes till 9:30. So Howardsville and then north up toward Frogtown. Those are the areas of concern, and I think we should probably zoom in again, Caitlin. And
yeah, and Topper, I think it'd be a safe bet that if you're in Berryville, if you're in parts of northern Clarke County, right along Route 7, I really think they're going to extend this warning. It's really not showing any signs of weakening, and we know how quickly it's moving. It's thought to be out of the warned area.
Okay, so that's great advice. I hope everybody heard that, because when it gets out of this warned area, we think it's going to continue and hold together. So there's Blue Ridge Mountain Road. That's what we're kind of concerned about right now in terms of where it is. If we pop out a little bit, we'll see that, you know, we're worried about it moving outside of this box, this polygon, as you get back up toward Route 7. So we're way out. We're going across into Clarke County now, out of Loudoun County. But if you're in Trap or north of that, hopefully you've taken cover. Okay, even in Bluemont, I would take cover. And look at the heavy rain right around Frogtown. So again, this particular warning, this tornado warning, is surrounded by a flood warning, which goes until after midnight. But this goes until 9:30. Yep, boom, you're right, Caitlin. Well done. Okay, so now we have another one. So this shows no sign of collapsing. So now we have another warning, and this goes till 9:45 for Frederick and Loudoun County. And that is Frederick County, Virginia, and Clarke County. So if you're in Berryville, let's watch out. And if you're in Howardsville or north, let's take precautions. Get indoors, basement, please, if you can. If not, interior room away from windows is your best bet. So I can't emphasize too how crazy this is that we're tracking them this way toward I-81. That's pretty unusual. I'm going to back out a little bit more here, and we'll track this, and we'll give you some towns, okay, and give you, a chance to see and maybe warn some folks. Let's go back out a little bit. Now I'm going to track the whole thing, okay? So it's going to be not just the little where we think the couplet could be of the tornado, but the whole thing. Just kind of keep you safe, all right? Better safe than sorry, right? So here we go. I'm going to track the kind of the northern part of this one, which is where we think maybe the rotation is, and then take that north up toward Cross Junction. Okay, boom. So now we've got Berryville. That showed up a lot, 9:34. 9:45 Burnt Factory, and then Cross Junction at 10:13. Not too often we're talking about tornadoes in Cross Junction, but there you go. So that is this newest warning, okay, which goes till 9:45. This warning goes until 9:30. That's Clarke and a little bit of Loudoun County. It's about to move out of Loudoun County in terms of the the danger. The wind is moving out, but the rain is still there. There's no doubt about that. So again, this is the one for Frederick County, Virginia, and Loudoun County goes until 9:45, and that's where Caitlin saw winds 70, 80 miles an hour. Near Bluemont. No Bluemont well, Bluemont Fair. So let's zoom in a little bit. What's that? Moving northwest at 35. Okay, so let's go back in here. Okay, so this is the first warning. This is the newer warning, which includes Berryville. We talked about where 7 and 15 meet, not far from Briggs. So you have a little bit of time, not much, but a little bit of time to prepare for that. But I would not, wouldn't mess around with this. This is pretty intense. 70, 80 mile per hour winds are pretty intense. Winchester, you're sort of on the edge. I think it's going to end up missing you, but I would take precautions if you were in Winchester, just to be safe. You're going to get hammered by rain in any event. And again, this is the one that is going to expire here in about 30 seconds for Clarke and Loudoun, and then we'll be left with just this one that has been extended, which indicates the storm is not weakening at all. In fact, it may be getting a little bit stronger with winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour. Berryville, yeah, you got to take cover right now. Millwood, you're probably okay, but you have some heavy rain and perhaps some gusty winds. Okay, so there's the warning. Here, let's just zoom out a little bit. So there you are at 340 and 7 in Berryville. Upperville, you're okay. You're out of the warning. However, you may have had some pretty big winds before you became out of the warning. This is a pretty big warning area. It goes until 9:45, again, for Frederick County, Virginia, and Loudoun County. A little sliver of Loudoun County, not far from Bluemont. But Upperville, you're okay. Purcellville, you're okay. Tremendous rains continue. And, as I zoom out again, look at the area. It's under a flood warning. That means it's happening. Now, and part of this problem was you folks had 3 to 5 inches of rain yesterday. And now you're just getting another 2 to 4 inches of rain. There'll be some spots with 5, and that will cause some massive flooding. As I mentioned earlier, too, we get all this rain. We'll be tracking river flooding probably through Saturday, even though we're going to be done with this and done with Debbie around noon tomorrow. I think that's probably a safe bet. All right, I'm going to keep going here for a second. Here, let me go back here. Again, we have the new warning, okay? That's Clarke and Frederick and Loudoun County until 9:45, and that is this area right there, around 340, around 17 and 50. And again, south of Winchester, but you may end up with some strong winds. Okay, so this is new, and let's just see here. This is a possible tornado. Let's just see what's down here. This is around Fauquier County. Okay, and let's see what they say about this. This just came in. This is our latest storm report. So, several trees down near Hartwood Road, near Park Farm Lane, a tornado possible. We talked about Hartwood Road. We were on the air talking about that, actually. Radar analysis will be followed up by a ground survey in the coming days. So, we also think there's one down here south of Fredericksburg and also into Ladysmith. May have been the same tornado that pulsed up and down, but that's the first one that they have in terms of an icon that says, hey, possible tornado. Yes, Chris.
The current warning now, it says radar confirmed, not radar indicated, but radar confirmed.
Radar confirmed tornado. So that...
Near Berryville at 9:30.
Near Berryville at 9:30. Okay, so that's just on the edge of Loudoun County heading into Clarke County. Whoa. What do we have here? I think we probably should go back to the maps for just a second. What is that? I don't have anybody talking to me. I couldn't tell what that was. Let's go back for a second here. That was Purcellville? Okay. So Purcellville's out of the warning area, but you saw they have heavy rain still, pretty much across the board. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the tornado warning. Again, this is now no longer a radar indicated, but probably a confirmed tornado here, okay? So it's out just barely in to Loudoun County. It's about to move out. It's north of Upperville, but it includes Clarke and Frederick and Loudoun County until 9:45. essentially it's now Frederick and Clarke County, Frederick County, Virginia. Chef, do you see any rotation anywhere I should zoom in on?
No, really, as that storm moved into Clarke County, it lost a lot of its rotation and not seeing a ton of wind, so that's great news there. I am keeping an eye on that little storm over Front Royal. Certainly broad and fairly weak, but we've seen them more and less throughout the evening.
Yeah.
So that might be an area worth mentioning and heading over to, so folks know in the area that, not out of the question to see a tornado warning. But as far as the actual warning, it still has about 10 minutes left on it. It's looking weaker, thankfully.
Okay, good. So you want me to head off to the north and west more?
Actually, south and west, down towards Front Royal.
Down towards Front Royal. Okay. So this is still the warning. Okay. I mean, it's still until 9:45. Clarke and Frederick and Loudoun. I think Loudoun, you're okay now. I don't think you have to worry about anything right now. It's past obvious. There's White Post. We're going to go down towards Cedarville and Bucktown. Let me just zoom out a little bit more. Are you seeing rotation here?
It's broad and weak, but again, kind of similar to what we've seen so far this evening. I think at a minimum, likely some gusty wind.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think they'll put a tornado warning on it, but it's an area that's packing some wind along with that heavy rain.
Okay, so you're in the Front Royal area, correct? 340, 522,
Correct.
out 66.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is the area we're also concerned about. And you're inside the flood warning. So you have flooding that's occurring. Do not cross a flooded street by car or by foot. Hopefully you're inside. You're not trying to go anywhere. There's a tornado warning. I'm going to just say Clarke and Frederick County now until 9:45. Loudoun County, you're okay in terms of this warning area. Let me just go back up. I'm going to just go back up one more time to the warning. Keep an eye on the Front Royal one for me, Caitlin. So Berryville, you still should take cover. There's no doubt about that. Upperville, you're fine. See, the scan just came in about seconds ago. Rainfall rates over 2 inches per hour, thus the flood warning around the entire tornado warning, which goes another 10 minutes for Clarke and Frederick counties. I'm going to go ahead and track this a little bit. I'm going to track the whole thing. And remember, it's kind of counterintuitive. We're tracking it northwest, okay? We're not tracking it northeast. It's kind of odd that we track tornadoes back toward I-81. In fact, I think it's been a minute since we had to do this, probably not since, maybe Ivan or Isabel when they moved that way. All right.
And once you track out this storm, I would drop back down to just south and east of the warning again, because Middleburg is really spiking up, not only for broad rotation, but it's picking up on some hail, but I would say rotation is a bigger concern there. And I would say a warning, not out of the question.
Around toward Middleburg? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So technically.
Once again, where the storm kind of originated.
Right. Okay. So there's Upperville, there's Middleburg. Okay. That's what Caitlin's talking about. 50 between Middleburg and Upperville. Are you seeing wind values?
Wind values are coming in around 50, 57, 50 or so.
Okay. Is it on the south side of 50? Is that where just south of Middleburg?
Yes, really just kind of right over Middleburg right now.
Okay. So here we go. We'll zoom in a little bit.
Over towards St. Louis Road.
Oh, where we were a little while ago. Right. There's halfway. we were right there. There's Halfway Road too, and there's Zulia Road, which is not far from St. Louis Road, which is where we were not too long ago. So Caitlin's picking up winds here, maybe some rotation. Okay. So let's take this seriously too, even though technically you are not in a warning. You're in a flood warning, yes. Not in a tornado warning right now. But Zula Road, Halfway Road, and St. Louis Road, be advised there could be something spinning up here. Really, everybody should just be sort of on the lookout tonight for this type of a pattern, which is I hearken back to the fact that we have a tornado watch until 7 a.m. tomorrow. That's kind of unusual. Normally, it's usually a 6-hour period. That's certainly more common. All right, so there's Middleburg. Take cover if you're around the Middleburg area, in between Middleburg and Upperville. And again, this is the warning left over. Now, you're okay, I think, if you're in Loudoun County with this particular storm, okay? But if you're in Berryville, I'm a little concerned in Berryville right now in terms of some winds. And we're going to see if they extend this. Caitlin, do you think they're going to extend this last warning, which is now essentially for Clarke and Frederick?
I don't think they'll extend it north and west. No, I think if anything, we see another warning build back in behind it.
Behind it, okay. All right, they just took that. They just trimmed it, which makes sense. They took Loudoun out, makes perfect sense. They'll keep Frederick in. I don't think is Clarke in or not. Let's see. Yeah, Clarke and Frederick until 9:45. Okay, so that's good. They trimmed it but didn't extend it. So that's I think pretty good. I would still take cover. If you were in Berryville, I think I would still take this seriously. Remember, these things will pulse up and pulse down very, very quickly. And they can do that sometimes in between radar scans. So we may see something in 1 minute, and then we may not the next, but in between, it may have dropped down again. So if you're in Berryville, I would definitely take cover. Now let's go back to Caitlin. I'm going to go in between Middleburg and Upperville, okay? And we're going to see.
Correct.
Okay, so right here. There.
Atoka, Leetown.
Atoka, yeah, we've been there before, haven't we? Let's zoom in again. And are you seeing a couplet? Are you seeing a boom? Wow. I call Caitlin the tornado whisperer for a reason. Then we have a new warning right where she said, okay? It goes until 10:15. So that is exactly, and now it's Clarke again, Fauquier, and Loudoun. And we think this is the more important warning than the one north of it. That storm seems to be pulsing down. This one seems to be pulsing up. So take cover. Aldi, you're okay. Upperville, you're technically not in the warning, but I would still sort of take cover. But again, Clarke, Fauquier, and Loudoun, it's kind of taken the same path, really, as the last one. What do you have for wind speeds on this one?
Right around 55, 54.
55, okay. So I'm going to zoom
Certainly
out.
not as powerful as it was before, but still
Okay.
showing broad rotation.
All right. Well, yeah, you got to take cover. I mean, and you folks mainly have basements here. I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to try to track this again. I'll track the whole thing. It'll be a little broad, but again, I'd rather track too much than too little, right? So I'm going to go down to just south of Upperville, okay, and and maybe just a little bit north of Middleburg, and then track this up. And we're going to track it up to about there. Okay, so where's it going? Bloomfield, 9:49. Bluemont, 9:56. Gaylord at 10:11. Louisville at 10:13. Swimley at 10:23. All right? If you're anywhere in that area, call someone, tell them to take cover. If you live there, take cover right now. Basement, interior room, away from windows. Away from windows. Remember, flying debris is the main problem. Anything that's hurled at 50 miles an hour can be deadly. So take cover if you're in that area. We have winds on this 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. So that's, let's take that seriously. You're still technically under the warning here too in Frederick County and Clarke County, Virginia, but this is a much more serious storm, we think. 10:15 for Clarke, Fauquier, and Loudoun. And it's, kind of on the heels of this other warning. It's not quite exactly the same path, but it's pretty close, Caitlin. I mean, it's right behind it. Now, inside of that is a flood warning, which covers Winchester and Berryville and Charlestown and Leesburg and Aldi. You've already had 3 to 5 inches of rain yesterday. You have another, I bet you're getting another 2 to 4 inches right now. I mean, these rainfall rates are crazy, and it's very, very tropical, and they've been just, kind of crazy all day, really. So just flooding is as dangerous as anything else. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, some good news. In town, we have some light to moderate rain. This seems to be the only area of that feeder band that's producing little spinners, little tornadoes. That's good. that's good and bad. I mean, if we take you back a little bit more, we're going to be tracking these feeders all night long. Until the storm passes our parallel, we're going to have the chance for heavy rain, flooding, and tornadoes. So another little band here down toward Richmond and Charlottesville. Good news is, I think we're going to have a respite between the bands, but it is going to hammer Hagerstown to Winchester with tremendous rains over the next 3-4 hours. Berryville, you're in the warning, but that's not the warning we're concerned about. That's the warning we're concerned about, which goes until 10:15. That's for Clarke and Loudoun County. Winds at least 60 miles per hour. I'm going to zoom back in there, Caitlin, and see if we can't kind of pinpoint. I'm going to go a little north of 50, okay? I'm going to go right like in here. Let's see here. Oh, it just moved a little bit. Okay, there you go. I think that may be, there's St. Louis Road. We've been there before. Now we're back there again. I think it's just north of this, north of St. Louis and up toward Unison. Would you agree, Caitlin? There's Unison right there. There's St. Louis, and there's St. Louis Road. Are we talking northwest of that?
Nope, right around there, right over St. Louis, again over toward Willisville, just to the east of St. Louis Road.
To the east of St. Louis Road, okay. And
west of St. Louis Road.
West of St. Louis Road, okay. And it's in the warning area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Willisville. Right? Okay, boom. Yeah, there's got to be something going on here, right, between the two. Yeah. Take cover. You know, we warned you earlier. We've got to warn you again. Hopefully you've come up for dinner and then you go back to the basement, or at least an interior room, because this is pretty serious. And this goes until 10:15 tonight. So we're looking at another half an hour with that storm. The good news is, I think once this band goes through, we get a little bit of a break in terms of the next feeder band. I think it's going to be, you know, a little bit of a break. I just showed you just a minute ago, this is what we're concerned about. But notice we get a little bit of a break. Yeah, we have some showers and a few isolated storms and heavy downpours, but this has got to rotate through across I-81 and back into the mountains. And I think, you know, once that happens, we'll have a break. But as I mentioned earlier, I showed you this just a couple minutes ago. I mean, there's another band down here, okay? But we have a little bit of time between bands. But we're going to be doing this all night in terms of the potential for flooding and tornadoes. Again, the watch goes until 7 a.m. and the flood watch goes until 8 p.m. tomorrow. So we are looking at the chance for severe weather from now until about 10 a.m. tomorrow, and maybe to noon. So another 12 to 14 hours potentially of severe weather. Okay. What is that? Fauquier is out. Yes. Yeah, that's gone. The only warning now is out to the in parts of Loudoun. So here's our watch. Covers everybody essentially. Okay, until 7 a.m. tomorrow. And again, a watch means it's possible. We know that's happening, right? And there's the warning right now. A little bit of quite a bit of Loudoun County, a little bit of Clarke County. That's the watch. That's the warning right now until 10:45. Now, or 10:15. So there is the index, the tornado index, and it still doesn't move out of here until like noon tomorrow. In terms of storm energy, it's not that impressive, but it has its own energy. It doesn't really need any kind of daytime heating or anything. It's sort of a different scenario. Now, where do these go? This has worried me all night. And Futurecast has been very adamant and very consistent about moving this storm around Leesburg at 11 o'clock tonight. Even up into Frederick, across the river, even up into northwestern Montgomery County. That would cause more flooding, and perhaps there would be some rotation with that. 1 o'clock in the morning, yes, still heavy storms from, you know, Leesburg, Fairfax, northward to Hagerstown. That's why we're concerned about you folks, Hagerstown, Martinsburg, and Winchester, and also B, we've said that's going to be the heaviest axis of rain, and that will be, no doubt. 3 o'clock in the morning, we're still getting some bands of storms. And you see the deep reds. I mean, that is heavy, heavy stuff. By 6 a.m., that does concern me. It looks kind of innocuous because there's a lot of type over it, but that could be the last chance for some rotation, because by noon we're in pretty good shape with just light showers across the board. So that's not bad. Here's the flood watch. Covers everybody until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And remember, it's going to be flooding long after it stops raining. And this is a huge area. That is a flood warning. Goes till 12:15 tonight. So we issue these weather impact alerts. And we issued this quite a while ago for Debbie, okay? And it's to, keep you safe, keep you ahead of the storm. It might be just to keep you from, having to change your plans. But in this case, it's kind of life-threatening. And it's through Friday. That's the when. The impact, well, I think we know the impact, right? 2 to 5 inches of rain, tornadoes, and flooding. That's the impact. Keep your devices charged. Move your plans indoors. Stay off the roads. Download the app so we can send you notifications because nocturnal tornadoes are very, very dangerous. Let's go through this. Tonight, our timeline. Strong to severe storms, possible tornadoes. Sleep on the first floor when you go to bed. Tropical downpours, heaviest rain in the west. Keep those devices charged. Now, tomorrow morning, we still have strong to severe storms and still the possibility of more tornadoes. Flooding is likely, just likely. Winds are going to pick up too. As the remnants of Debbie, the course just passes to our west, it'll pick up winds 20 to 40 miles per hour. That's going to cause some problems. By afternoon, though, the showers and storms end. In fact, we get some partial clearing late. Breezy, winds 15 to 25. Probably see the sunset, though. Saturday, your plans are safe. Nice, low humidity. Outdoor plans okay, but we're going to be following river flooding all day. I mean, all this rain that's falling in the mountains has to drain through the Potomac River Basin, and it's going to be a while before the Potomac River crests. May not crest till Saturday night, may not crest until Sunday morning. Once we get through Friday morning specifically, we're in great shape for the weekend and into next week. That's the good news. Okay, here's the wide radar. So here we are. There's the circulation of what's left of Debbie, and here's the band that's causing all the problems. But notice there's a band there, and there's a band there. So as the remnants in the center move northward, it's going to carry these other bands through us. So it looks to me like this is the worst band, but it's not the last band that has to go through us. So I guess there's a little consolation in that. There it is, moving through Fredericksburg, Culpeper, Warrenton, Loudoun County, back toward Winchester. Rainfall rates 1, 2, 2.5 inches per hour. And that's why we have the, the flood warning. This is the latest radar, last couple of hours. Last image is just a couple minutes old. So it's essentially now, the heavy rain is about to move out of Loudoun County, but continue to hit Clarke County and Frederick County, Virginia. So here we go. There it is. Just moving across I-81. This is headed toward Romney and all the way to Cumberland. Romney, you're under a tornado watch. Cumberland, you're not, but I'd keep an eye out. So here we go. This is the flood warning for a good portion of our western viewing area until 12:15. That includes, Frederick County, Virginia, Jefferson, Warren. I mean, it's just a huge area. Okay, and this is the latest tornado warning right there. And that's the newest one. That goes until 10:15. That's Clarke County and Loudoun County. And we were kind of talking about the same area, St. Louis Road, Tohoka, that area. Take cover immediately. And of course, don't try to drive. If you can stay off the roads really until noon tomorrow, it'd be great. But hopefully no one's trying to drive tonight because at nighttime you just come across down trees. You can't see them till you hit them. And the same thing with flooded streets. You just can't see them, especially if you're on a road that's, kind of rural. So this is the tornado warning until 10:15, Clarke and Loudoun. Kayla, is there a place you want me to zoom in here?
No, thankfully everything kind of seems like it's weakening a bit. I would say the strongest part of that storm that's still warned is just about to move out of it, closer to Berryville once again, but it's not exceptionally concerning at this time. Okay.
All right. So let's do this then. Let's go ahead and just track the whole storm so people can get just sort of a sense in case it spins back up, where it could end up, where it could go. So again, they're moving northwest at about 33 miles an hour, something like that. Okay. We're going to track the top of it because Caitlin said she's most concerned about the area sort of coming out of the warning area. And we'll track that pretty small fan, pretty narrow fan rather, but we'll track it to the northwest. So, Wickliffe, if you're there. Berryville, yep, Caitlin just mentioned that, 10:05. I mean, there's a chance it could spin up again. So, you know, again, these are sort of these types of storms that will spin up and spin down, spin up and spin down, and never get really huge and never stay on the ground for any length of time, but still can cause some damage. Swimling, we talked about that earlier, 10:15, Middleway, 10:18, sort of the same path we had earlier, isn't it? Inwood, 10:28, Georgetown, 10:34, DeHaven at 10:40. That's just some of the towns that possibly could get hit with tornado or damaging winds over the next, say, 50 minutes or so, and certainly some heavy rain. I mean, you're already experiencing that, but certainly some heavy rain with that. And this is the area right there, the kind of circled big area that has the flood warning in effect until 12:15. And that means that flooding is occurring, okay? Warnings, it's happening, okay? Might want to think about that as warning, ing, happening, ing, okay? There it is. It covers the city of Winchester, Frederick, Jefferson County, West Virginia, Warren County until 12:15. And then inside of that is our tornado warning until 10:15 for Clarke and Loudoun County. Again, the good news is that, yes, there's some isolated storms behind this band, but I think we're going to have a little bit of a break between the exiting of this first initial band, which I think is the worst, before the next one rolls in. But we have a ways to go, because until that storm passes our parallel around 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, we run the risk of heavy rain and also some tornadoes. So that's just the way it is right now. And until it goes past us, we have the risk of both, okay? And again, I've been as concerned with the flooding as I have with the tornadoes. I really have. Let me go out again a little bit. I want to go back to, you know what I want to do? Let's go back this way. I want to go back and show you. I'm going to widen it out to the circulation of the storm itself, which became a tropical depression at 5 o'clock this afternoon. But that didn't matter. It was never a windstorm for us. It was always a rainstorm. So there's the band. It went through between about 6 o'clock, and now it's up crossing over I-81. Okay. Here's the wide view. There's our feeder band right there. Okay. The circulation is down here. Okay, in the Piedmont of North Carolina. Probably not too far, probably in between Greensboro and Raleigh. So you see a band here, and you see a band here. So those are going to lift northward overnight as the center of this storm passes just to the east of Roanoke, just to the west of us, and then up, and then it really accelerates up into Pennsylvania, upstate New York. It's out of the continental U.S. by Saturday morning. It's taken a long time for it to get moving. Remember, it moved like 3 miles an hour yesterday. It was up to 10 this evening. It'll be up to 20, 30 miles per hour by tomorrow morning. But this is the problem, is that, yes, okay, we made it through this first band, but there's another band there that's just approaching Richmond, and kind of another band south of Richmond headed towards Charlottesville. So we have a ways to go before we can sound the all clear. So I want folks to stay vigilant, okay? This is the last couple of hours. The red, that's rainfall rates 2 inches per hour, and some wind and possible tornadoes. I mean, to the east of this, yes, we're getting some rainfall, D.C. and over into parts of Prince George's County, lower Montgomery County, but that's nothing compared to what we saw out to the west, right? Last couple hours, look at that. That is a huge band. Wow. And pretty far north. It's always been kind of a big storm. I think at one time, tip to tail was 900 miles. It was never a really windstorm, but it was a fairly big storm. It's condensed a little bit now, but still, I mean, located in the Piedmont, it's still throwing, damaging waves of rain and tornadoes through the metro pretty far north. It's pretty impressive. All right, there's a tiny little storm that's popped up right on the Prince William, Fauquier County line, but it is not severe at this particular point. There's the flood warning. Again, Winchester, Frederick County, Virginia, Jefferson, and Warren County. Okay, and we're going to kind of move back to the north here, and we'll talk about the flood warning, and we'll talk about inside that flood warning is our tornado warning. And there it is. Now, do we see anything in terms of, Caitlin, are they going to extend this that could include Berryville? Or do you think
they've got to do something, because it expires in 15 minutes and the strongest part of the storm is just about out of the warning?
It is.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they do extend it into Berryville, as a precaution, especially if it takes you a little longer to get to a safe location. I would say if you live right along Route 7 between Bluemont and Berryville, head to a safe place just as a precaution. But otherwise, if you're behind really south of Trapp, Bloomfield, you're in the clear, even though the warning technically still has 15 minutes on it.
Okay. So we're kind of concerned with the Bluemont area, and then as it gets out of the warning area as you continue at 7, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. You're right. It's about to cross over here. It's still in effect for Clarke and Loudoun County until 10:15. Hopefully, you've taken cover, and if if you're outside this warning area, don't let your guard down, okay? Because they could extend the warning, which would encompass the areas of Route 7 we're looking at and out toward Berryville, but also it could not be extended. You still have gusty winds and rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. I mean, this is one of the most tropical air masses I can remember in the last 10 years or so. I mean, it is tropical. Dew points in the upper 70s. That's like Miami. This is pretty tropical. Makes sense with the tropical depression coming our way, but even for us, it's pretty tropical. Let me just zoom out one more time, and I'm going to track this in case they do issue it, and just so folks can be ready for this. I would take this seriously. It doesn't have to be a tornado warning for damage or problems. So I'm going to widen this out. I'm going to take it from the very top of the warning area, okay, in case they try and extend it, all right? And then we will bring it up to the northwest. I know that's crazy. We're going to bring it up to the northwest. Pretty close to Martinsburg, not quite. Probably goes just southwest of you. But here's Webtown again, 10:05. Swimley, 10:21. Middleway, 10:25. So even if this is not tornadic, if I'm riddling off one of your names here, I would take cover. And again, you go to bed tonight, don't sleep on the top floor. If you have a single-family home or even a townhome or condo, sleep on the bottom floor, or at least the first floor. Inwood, 10:35. Jones Springs, about 10:54. That's where that storm is headed. Whether or not it's tornadic or not, kind of immaterial at this point. It's still a very, very strong storm. And then, of course, around it, we've got that warning for flooding. And that means flooding is occurring. You can't mess around. Anytime there's a warning, you can't mess around with it. You really have to take it seriously. So there we are right there, Clarke County and Loudoun County until 10:15. It's about to move out of Loudoun and go into Clarke, and we'll see. I mean, they have a few more minutes to extend it, Caitlin, but we'll see. In terms of storm reports, that's a possible tornado. Also, we have reports of possible tornadoes down in Fredericksburg and also Ladysmith. So, Leslie, hi.
Hey, yeah, Top. So we just want to reset. It's 10:01 tonight. We want to let folks know who are hoping to see the real CSI Miami that we are bringing you this weather impact alert because, as you've heard, we have a lot going on weather-wise tonight, including a flood warning for some of you until 12:15 a.m.
Yeah, and these tornado watches have been kind of coming up throughout the evening, and Topper and Caitlin have responded to each and every one of them, trying their very best to keep you safe. Of course, we've been telling you about the remnants of Debbie and what to prepare for as Debbie is starting to make the way through here, and now it is here and we are in the thick of things. And because of the possibility of these nocturnal tornadoes, which Topper has says are the most concerning because they happen at night, you really do need to make sure you've got our weather app on your phone, that you're sleeping on the lower level of your home, doing all you can to keep you and your family safe. So the very latest information is that this current tornado warning goes until 10:15 for Clarke and Loudoun counties.
Yeah.
And so that's what Topper and Caitlin are tracking for you now.
And yeah, and we also had that tornado watch in place until 7 a.m. Again, as Topper mentioned, stepped outside a minute ago outside of our studios, and it feels so tropical out. You can feel it. So, we're going to be here throughout the evening. What were you saying, Top?
It's just incredible how it's. I don't remember one quite as humid as this.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just It's crazy.
And you talked about how this is going to be going on all throughout the night. And because people are probably getting ready to go to bed, we hope you watch WUSA 9 News at 11 before you do that. You really have to take some precautions to make sure you can stay safe through the night and into the morning.
Yeah, and Topper mentioned this a little earlier as well. Yes, we want you to have our WUSA 9 app handy. We want you to have it there throughout the night, but make sure you have those push notifications turned on. Make sure you have the volume up as well, so if you do fall asleep, you'll have something that's going to wake you up so you can take the steps needed to stay safe.
Yeah, and you know, for some people in our area, this may not be impacting them, but this storm is going to be moving through our area for a while.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Topper and Caitlin and the WUSA 9 weather team are going to be really carrying us through.
Yeah, we're not in the clear.
We're not in the clear just yet.
So, Top, you mentioned this first band that we're experiencing right now, and you said this one may be the worst of what we're going to see.
I mean, it looks to be the biggest.
Okay.
But it's not the last. That's that's the unfortunate part. And yeah, when we come on the air with these tornado warnings, they are very specific, but we have to keep everybody safe. And if it's not in your neighborhood tonight, and it's in your neighborhood the next night, we'll be there. But I got to tell you, everyone will be impacted by this storm by the time we're at noon tomorrow. So this is the first band that went through, and that is a very heavy band. But notice we have one here and we have one here, and they just rotate around the center of the storm, which is now kind of in between Charlotte and Raleigh. It was downgraded to tropical depression at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So if you look here, this is certainly the widest band, and it turned out to be the most intense band as it moved west of town through Warrenton. We're really Fredericksburg, Ladysmith, Warrenton, Loudoun County, and now back into Frederick County, Virginia, and Clarke County. So we'll widen out. And this is about a minute old, this last image. There's the heavy rain in the red, okay? Yes, there are some leftover showers, but I got to tell you, we're in pretty good shape. For a few hours, if you're in D.C. or southward, down into southern Maryland or even down 95, even in Fredericksburg, you can catch your breath here because you have a few hours before the next line comes in. So here we are. This is the latest loop, last couple of hours. And yeah, there's a couple of storms still kind of lagging, but that's the meat of the first band. That's hammering Hagerstown now and Martinsburg. And you folks don't need any more rain. You had like 5 inches of rain last night. So this is the flood warning. Inside of that is the tornado warning for Clarke and Loudoun County. And that goes until 10:15. And as we mentioned, Caitlin mentioned too, even if it were not extended, folks in Berryville, I would take cover and just be safe, right? Why not? Charlestown, if you're about to go to bed in the next hour and a half, again, we mentioned this, Leslie mentioned it, sleep on the bottom floor or the main floor, not on the second floor. That goes for you folks in Chevy Chase and Vienna, any place that has trees. We have a lot of trees around here. Nocturnal tornadoes are very, very dangerous. And download our app. We keep saying that, but you get the warnings right on your phone. And if we're doing coverage like this right now, special coverage, you can watch us live on the phone from a safe location. So you can take shelter and watch us, and we'll tell you when you're in the clear. So that is the tornado warning. Again, Clarke County, Loudoun County until 10:15, and the flood warning in effect around that. So I want to zoom in a little bit and kind of, I think Caitlin, you're right. I think it's going to be on the north side of this already, but it's still heavy on Route 7 as you come out of Round Hill. You have a storm report?
They've just announced that they were going to allow this advisory warning to expire 10:15.
Okay, they're going to allow that to expire. Good. So that's good. But if you're north of that, still be careful. I mean, it still could produce some strong winds. We've seen winds anywhere from 40 to 80 miles per hour at one point with this particular storm inside this band. And that's what they are. It's sort of storms embedded in these bands that come out of a tropical system. So that will be allowed to expire at 10:15. The flood warning, though, that's going to stay up. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I think by the time we see you at 11 o'clock, we're going to see more storm warnings. I really think that's going to be a given. All right, we'll zoom back out a little bit. There's the warning, and there's the tornado warning again. Clarke and Loudoun until 10:15. Good news is we don't see any rotation right now. There's some storm reports, and we'll get into these in greater detail tonight at 11 o'clock. There's the watch. Covers essentially all of us in the metro. It's unusual. Yeah, it goes until 7 a.m. tomorrow. It came out about 6:45. That's kind of unusual that it goes 12 hours. But we see why with the feeder bands coming. And really, we've seen everything off to the west tonight, but you folks are still not in the clear to the east of town. In fact, as the storm gets closer to us, more likely you're going to see some storms that could produce some little tornadoes on the other side of 95, on the east side of 95. So here, there's the warning. Loudoun County, Clarke County, there it is right there. It goes until 10:15, and we are told by the Weather Service it will be allowed to expire. That is good. Now, I put some pause points in here for you. This is 5 o'clock in the morning. It's our tornado threat. Blue is low and yellow is enhanced. So that's 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's low, but it's either side of 95 by 6:30 tomorrow morning. So if you can telecommute tomorrow, I would recommend that. And then by 8 o'clock, it's pulling away from D.C. up toward Baltimore, which makes sense. And even by 10 o'clock, it's Baltimore northward up toward Newark and Philadelphia as the center of the storm begins to pass our parallel. Once it gets past our parallel, we're going to be in pretty good shape. By noon, it's even pulling north of Baltimore. And that's just one, parameter we look at. Storm energy is not particularly high, but this is sort of a different case. Now, let's go through Futurecast, okay? So this is 11 o'clock tonight, and it's still pretty similar to what we've had all night, right? It's taken away maybe that magenta, but it's still hammering much of Loudoun County and much into Jefferson County and Clarke County as we go into Frederick County, Virginia. That's incredible rainfall rates. They may have to extend that flood warning. By 1 a.m., heavy activity now across I-81 rather. There's the magenta up there between Cumberland and Hagerstown. So you're not immune to a little low-end tornado either, Hagerstown or Cumberland. By 3 a.m., everything essentially is west of us. Again, either side of I-81, which is why we said that was going to be the bullseye for the rain. And by 6 a.m., there are some showers again. Martinsburg, Winchester, down toward Front Royal. Yeah, there's one here in Charles County and Anne Arundel County, and Prince George's County. We'll watch that because that's that last little storm that I'm kind of concerned about that could become severe on the east side of I-95 as it begins to exit tomorrow morning. By noon, we're in pretty good shape. Big storms now well north of Baltimore. Notice the winds are beginning to turn westerly out toward Cumberland. They're still out of the south, east of I-95, but another couple of hours we will get westerly winds, and that will dry us out. I'll leave us with a really nice weekend. 4:30, there could be an isolated big storm still, yes, but look how few and far between it is. And look at this, sunshine out along I-81. So we're going to see some clearing tomorrow. Yes, we have a flood watch that was expanded earlier this evening. It covers the district. It covers Fairfax County and Prince George's County. Technically, it doesn't cover our friends in Charles County or St. Mary's or Calvert, but you all could have some big rains. But I think the takeaway here, yes, it's always been an event that's going to have heavier rain west. The farther west you go, the heavier the rain is going to be. That watch goes until 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and you see this big area we showed you on Doppler. Now we'll show it to you on this map. That is a flood warning. That means flooding is occurring. So you don't want to cross a flooded street. Even if you get up in the morning and it's maybe not pouring, still could be some flooding going on, especially stream and river flooding, not so much flash flooding. Now, the impacts, and we talk about this, something we've just sort of done recently. Weather impacts. We issue an alert so you can stay ahead of the storm and you can be safe. Now, we issue them for nuisance weather or for life-threatening weather. This is both, and certainly life-threatening. This goes through Friday. The impact is 2 to 5 inches of rain plus tornadoes and also flooding. So keep your devices charged. We're going to see some winds develop after midnight tonight. Move your plans indoors. Download the WSA 9 app. And again, if you can stay off the roads, I would stay off the roads. Here's the timeline again. Strong to severe storms tonight, possible tornadoes. Sleep on the first floor. More tropical downpours, which means probably more flooding. Heaviest rain still west. Keep your devices charged at all times. Tomorrow morning, we still aren't done. Strong to severe storms, more possible tornadoes. Flooding is just simply likely by tomorrow. And winds now pick up 20 to 40 miles per hour. Not sustained, just gusts, but that could cause some problems after all the rain we've had. Showers and storms ending tomorrow afternoon. That's good. Partial clearing late. And then, boom, breezy, winds 15 to 25. That's not crazy, but that also could cause some problems. Saturday, nice day, low humidity, outdoor plans safe, but we will be tracking river flooding all day. All this water has to drain into the basins, in the Potomac Basin, Rappahannock, and all this has to eventually, it may take till Saturday night, maybe early Sunday, to get some of the crests in the Potomac down toward Georgetown. Once we're through tomorrow, we are in fantastic shape. Upper 80s on Saturday, upper 80s on Sunday. Low humidity. Look at the lows. 66 downtown on Sunday. That's like 56, 57 in the burbs. Beautiful Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we have some storms, but not a washout and nothing like what we're going through tonight. Okay, let's go through radar again until we get to 10:15, and then we'll see if they extend the warnings. So here's the circulation of the storm. That's what's left of Debbie. There's the big first feeder band, but notice there's another one developing here, just south of Richmond, and another one here, kind of in between Richmond, headed toward Charlottesville. So we will zoom in, and this was the monster area that produced all the tornado warnings and also the flood warnings. It did it all over about a 4-hour period. Right now, we have a couple of storms in eastern Montgomery County, but the lion's share associated with this feeder band is moving away from us. It's crossing over I-81 at this moment, but tremendous rain still. Hagerstown, Winchester, you're a little bit better off, but still big rains in Hagerstown and even into Martinsburg. And you guys just don't need any more rain. You had 5 inches last night. Here is the flood warning, okay? It encompasses Charlestown and Berryville and Winchester and Front Royal. Leesburg, you're kind of on the edge. It certainly encompasses our Goose Creek area. And there inside of that is the tornado warning. And that goes until 10:15. Now, I would have thought they would have extended it by now. They have not. That's good. There, boom, it's gone. That's great. So all we have to worry about for the next little bit is just flooding in this area, all right? Tornadoes, they may pop up again, and we will come back on the air again if they do. But for now, our main concern is going to be heavy rainfall as we go through the night, and then other feeder bands. We'll come back at 11 o'clock, and I will kind of time out those next feeder bands and what that means to your morning commute and also the weekend forecast. Zoe and Les, you want to say anything?
Yeah, we don't like feeder bands.
No,
I know we don't.
Yeah,
No.
we're done with feeders and bands.
You're right.
And it's clearly going
All
to be a
of them.
long night, so
Yes.
we've got to buckle in and be prepared
We
for everything.
sure do, and that's why we issue these weather impact alerts. But right now, we're going to take a quick break so that we can come back here at 11 o'clock and give you a full picture of what has happened up until now and what's coming up ahead.
Yeah, so enjoy the real CSI Miami. We'll see you back here in just a bit.